trouble up on the bridge. Oh, the massive Thomas stacker. Oh, they're going down. Well, hi there. This is Thomas the Tank Dark Side, episode 18. Oh, on the table there is one nasty, nasty critter. I paid $20 for this rather different Thomas the Tank knockoff set. As you can see, it's got some rolling stock there. You can also see that on the side of the box and also the track pieces in this set. This knockoff set's called Thomas Cartoon Train Track World Super Track Theory. And there's some strange reads here. Classic Express, vivid and great in style, a handsome appearance. Well, we could certainly argue that. There's info about batteries and connecting the train and the track together. A picture of the overall size. Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? And all over the box, there's little bits of information, and it really does have a feel of a real Thomas & Friends set, even though it's not. These days I like to use a rubber chicken, but the chicken is fired because I like to keep these boxes because they are so unusual, and I'll open it in a conventional method. You sorry guys, sometimes they've got to be really boring. I got a sneaky suspicion this is going to be one of those knockoff toys where the boxing is far more impressive than what comes out. And because it had no price in the box at the place where I purchased this, the people selling this basically make up a price on the day. I see that happen quite often, and that's what the toy looks like once it's out of that box. Still looks fairly rotten, doesn't it? I'll get this out. We've got some multicoloured tracks going on here. They feel very cheap and plasticky. They feel a bit greasy as well. What is it about this knockoff stuff that they feel greasy? The rolling stock. There we go. It's a coal thing, lumber thing there. Oh man, this is this is bad stuff. And the tanker there, and of course, last of all, we'll grab Thomas. Dun dun dun! Shock and horror. I can tell you this: I have not had one like this before. It feels very, very cheap and nasty. Welcome to the dark side. Let me just push that aside. I'll set the tracks together. I'll get the train together, and I'll get the batteries into Thomas here. This is a piece of the curved track. You can see it's got grooves in there. That'd be for traction, I dare say, when this train gets up and running. It has got a peculiar way that it joins together. I've never seen that before either. Maybe if I try to push it together here, you'll see that it's actually quite a clumsy thing. There it is there, and if I turn it over, there you can see the way that it joins. It's quite unusual. I've seen lots and lots of different track styles over the years. I don't know, it just feels like things are going to snap as I put this together. It's just the sounds it's making, the way it feels. Ooh, doesn't feel nice at all, does it? Apart from being a rotten track system, what I don't like about these knockoff tracks is that so often they just don't want to play with anything else. There's a Trackmaster 2. Well, basically that gauge there is the same as the wheels in that toy there. Okay, Thomas Railway. It doesn't want to play, you can see that. It doesn't want to run on the inside. I can sort of straddle it on the outside and play, but he's just going to derail. I've no fun in that. Thomas Take and Play actually does fit on the inside. The nice gold Thomas there. Thomas Adventures will be the same. There we go. Although those two won't talk to each other, we already know that, don't we? So the little ones there will play, and of course we'll bring in a Thomas Mini. And very strangely, the Thomas Mini loves being in the middle there of that knockoff track. As for the rolling stock, here's my infamous in-hand appraisal. This is rubbish. If I manipulate this, I know I'm going to rip pieces off. The coupling system is also rubbish. I'm sure I could just pull that piece off there without much trouble. There we go. Bit of a welcome to the dark side there, but maybe that gives you a flat car. I shouldn't be, giving it any points, should I? I reckon I could rip the wheels up, but I want to see the toy train running first. I think it's the same with this load here. Our timber load can just come off. Once again, you've got a flat car. And I dare say with this tanker here, I wonder if it's been ripped off something else. I don't think the bottom has been. That's just, rubbish toy. I'm sure the tanker here could be manipulated. Crunch, crunch. Come off as well. Yeah, just total rubbish. There's a bit of a closer look at the coupling system. I reckon I could just pull that piece off. I'm pretty sure I could, with a bit of manipulation, pull that wheel set off there. There you go. Down the child's throat. The child is dead. How often have I said that in my Dark Side videos? It's just crummy stuff. There's the rolling stock on the tracks there, and there's one quite peculiar thing about this train is these are actually very top heavy. So if this had any sort of speed, I think we're going to have major rail accidents. And the other thing about it is as I pull and push this along, there's a lot of drag going on. So it's not nice at all. As for the Thomas engine here, got number 1 there, it says Town and Friends. It looks nice and shiny and spangly, doesn't it? There's a switch on the back here that'll turn it on and off. Some curious detailing on it. The face is a horror face. That'd only scare you, I'm sure. And like so many of these toys, it comes out with a strange sort of feel to it. I don't exactly know why. The other peculiar aspect to this Thomas is the sets of wheels on the outside are like dummy wheels, and on the inside, the core of the toy, which is the motor part, has a smaller gauge. And I'll just pop this piece out. I have put a battery in here already, but I want to show you this core piece. Okay, if I turn it on, we'll start to see possibly a speed that can do. And I'll just turn it off. It is a little bit peculiar because it's basically a great big rubber tyre there. Almost the whole wheel is rubber. I hope you can see that there. There's the front wheel there. It just looks like rubbish. It looks like I just pop it out in any instant. It's just very, very simple circuit. And that turns it on and off. That's what it looks like up inside there. The face is actually held on better than I thought. Like, I just can't pull the face off. And because I'm a curious sort, I know you're curious as well, I've got a Trackmaster 2 core here, and I can actually just slide this. This is very unusual, boys and girls. Look at this. I can slide that on there like that and make this into some very kooky looking Trackmaster 2 Thomas. Mind you, I can't turn it on and off unless I do a pre-turn on and put it together. But I could run it on Trackmaster 2 track, but I couldn't run it on that track over there because, well, this gauge doesn't fit that silly track system. Yes, it's peculiar, isn't it? I suppose you could do that as a party trick to impress your girlfriend or the boy next door or someone in your life. And I will slide this up inside here, making sure I get the little switch to come through the hole there, which can be a bit tricky to do when you're looking down through camera. And it's one of those toys where I can't move it, it's locked up when it's off, and I'll connect it up and we'll get Thomas going. Well, it's now or never. If it does go high speed, I think this train is going to topple over. Well, there it goes, and because it's a bit draggy, well, Thomas isn't going that fast at all, is he? Remember what you're looking at there? I paid $20 for it in Sydney, Australia. Is it worth that much, or is it worth zero? Maybe some people will be impressed by that. It's not as noisy on the track as I thought it might have been. Go, Thomas, go! Because I'm feeling a little bit bored, I'll put the Thomas Mini there, see if Thomas will pick up on that. Yeah, there it goes. Look at that. Now it's starting to have some fun. Oh, I know, you want to see the gold Thomas going around as well, don't you? There we go. Something could possibly go wrong soon, but we're still pushing us around. Wow, that little silver Thomas is certainly in a sandwich there. That wouldn't be a very nice place to be. Actually semi-surprised that Thomas can power that along. There's quite a weight in front of it. We can add to the adventure, no pun intended, by putting that there on. Oh, there we go. Little Thomas Mini there is in some strife. And this knockoff Thomas toy is starting to really struggle with that Thomas load in front of it. It's like a Thomas, what would you call it, a four-header. It's half impressive, actually. I shouldn't say it like that, but you don't see that on YouTube every day. Well, this might be some illuminating fun. Put that one on there. Okay. Oh, dear, oh dear. We've got a train wreck. We've got a train wreck. Well, I had to go sideways at some point, but we're starting to get a bit of an idea of what that train can and can't do. I was actually quite surprised. I was able to, well, at least push those around there. And I've just set it on its little merry way again, making sure it's on the track. It's a bit of a strange one to get on the track because I call it ghost wheels on the outside there. Okay, here we go. Whoa, go, go, go. What I might do is actually take off two of the wagons there, because I've got a feeling that once Thomas is free of a bit of weight, he might become a much faster unit. Okay. Oh yes, Thomas is starting to pick up speed now. That's what I thought, and if I get rid of that silly coal thing, he'll probably go even faster. Whoa, okay, there he goes. There he is at maximum speed. Go, Thomas, go! Wow! I have to say it's one of the most unusual little Thomas knockoff sets that I've seen in a long time. Well, one part of me wants to play on forever, but sadly we can't do that, Thomas. I'll turn Thomas off. Yeah, so there's going to be a nice Thomas for my Dark Side collection. I'm not really that keen on this stuff here, nor the track system, but I'll push it aside and we'll move on to the next train. Gently, of course. The next Thomas and Friends knockoff toy we're going to take a look at is very strange. We like strange, and I'm just coming in closer and closer. I'm not sure what language it's trying to depict there. You can see the engines which are in there, and there's a very, very strange edition of Lady. Now, that is a Dark Side rarity. I often like finding the really strange ones, and I think this is going to be pretty high up in that realm. This is Alloy Series there. Maybe that's a translation of that. Maybe someone can read that for me. That artwork there, you can see how much I paid, $14.50. Now the question is, would you pay $14.50 for what we're going to see? And there's a very curious read just here. Oh, this is a clanger, and I'm going to read it to you. Notice it's also been set to the wrong side. That straight line there, whatever it's called, should be over the other side. It's all back to front. I'm going to try and read this without cracking up. Okay, it's called Thomas the Train. In the beautiful island, a lot helpful Thomas is a lovely locomotive. He was a perfectionist, most liked to help others, but also often be coarse and overzealous and getting into trouble. But he is optimistic and cheerful, will soon forget the unpleasant things, so always is a smile to be in a good mood. And that is one of the all-time classic Dark Side reads I've ever had on one of these knockoff toys. Yes, it's completely out there, that read. I dare say the chairs and tissues have just gone through the roof. The other peculiar thing about this box here is it's got one of these here. I've forgotten what they're called, but it's unusual to see. First time I've seen it on a knockoff toy. Anyway, I'll get into this and we'll see what nonsense comes out of this box. Come on, boys and girls, time to play. Quite a strong chemical smell when this came out of that box there, but that's often the case. Wow, oh my goodness me. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, get James out next. Wow, these are highly unusual. Oh my goodness me, the faces are clangers. Let's take a look at Percy. Oh, well, Percy looks half normal. Why aren't I surprised when ladies last to come out? It's killing me, it's killing me. Well, there's a totally different Steam team if ever you wanted to see one. They do have a pullback action and they will take off at their own pace. Mind you, I think I noticed Percy wasn't that crash hot in doing what he does. Oh, there he goes, he's starting to work now. Maybe they need a bit of play. They also do magnet to each other, but I'm not talking about high-end magnetism here. I'm talking about fairly low-spec sort of joining up. Maybe if I get to play here... Yeah, you see what I mean? Okay, yeah, so just breaking away all too easily. We've lost Lady now, and then again, why aren't we surprised? I'll do some in-hand appraisal for you. One thing about these is the paintwork on them is nice and shiny. There are some aspects to the detailing which are nice. It's a very strange back on this. I'm trying to work out what this is a rip of. It looks like the running board here has got the splash of white, but there's also been a light, but there's no light in that. That face is totally wrong. The magnets are no good. We've got strange sets of wheels. I think they've all got the blue wheel sets in a sense. It's just completely rotten and it's so wrong. But then again, there's something very unusual when you see things so wrong. We'll take a look at James next. Again, the paint is nice and gleamy. It's almost like, see the way it's cut in there? It's a bit like Take Along, isn't it? The way Take Along, my goodness, a face. That face is, what is that? Can you recognise who that's from? In a comical way. I mean, they're highly entertaining, but there's no fun in these toys. It's got a bit of splash of white in the front, the light on the running board as well. It's very similar undercarriage on that. Very, very unusual. Percy's next. I'll do my Percy voice for you. Okay, once again, the green's nice. They've got the colours right, I dare say. There's a bit of a... I can see a very strange metallic fleck in this. Maybe you can't see that. Of course, I can see it naturally. The strange things on the top there, whatever that means. It's got the shape of Percy and the way his boiler is. Like, I'm trying to work out what... There must have been ripped off a real toy. The face is... Well, maybe that's the right face for that. Maybe that is Percy's face. Same blah blah there on the running board. There's a couple of things right with this, but there's a whole ton more things wrong. Would be the way I could say it, and the clanger, and the one, because I'm a Thomas collector, I think this is one of the all-time great small and knockoff Thomases I've ever seen. A strange thing on the top there, I can't, and it's also 3D, or what would you call it, embossed. I'm trying to think, but if you know what I mean, I can feel that pattern there, it's raised up. I'm trying to think of the word, I'm sorry, I'm mentally deficient at the moment. Very, very strange, the way it is, the face, it's just on its side. Just fantastic looking for, for me collecting this sort of rubbish. But no fun in these toys at all. I was just wondering whether I could straighten up Thomas's face. No, because it's dark side, you're not going to go there, are you? Yeah, there's a lot of character in this toy, but there's also so many things wrong. I also noticed one of the axles here. Look how bent that front axle is. Welcome to the dark side. And because Thomas has got a bent front axle there, if I try to drive him, he goes all sort of wonky. He's not a happy camper at all. I'm a tad curious of what's going on inside here. I'm going to pull apart James here, and we might see some dark side secrets of the way these toys have been put together. Okay, I've got the screws out of the bottom there, and okay, so there's his wind-up or pull-back motor thing. The magnet system just pulls out like that. Wow, it does look very similar to the way the magnets were done on, is it take-alongs or take-and-plays? Yes. Oh, come on, get the other one out there. But they're not as strong, so they've just got, rotten magnets in there. Okay, let's take a look underneath this part. There's another set of screws I need to undo to take off the running board. And even inside here, I'm just trying to think of what other toy was designed like that. What's it been ripped off? Okay, well there's the running board free. Very unusual. And this is the die-cast top, and I noticed this headpiece just comes away as well. Whoosh, look at that. Yes, I'm trying to think, what is that from? It's not shouting at me with the other real Thomas toy this is from. It's almost like it's a morph between a couple of different ones, and I can actually pull the face off if I undo that screw there. Of course I can, well I will, because maybe you're curious to see the face come off as well. There's the face that's come off. Maybe I can go and fix up my Thomas, but I like it that it's all wrong. Yes, it's really, really strange stuff. Very, very different. Just putting James back together, and it really got me thinking, wow, what have they done here to make this? Have they ripped it off a real toy, or is it like some sort of amalgam of a couple of different things? It's one of the most odd-bod Thomas things that I've seen in a long, long time, and I think we like it when it's like that. What I've got here in my hand, that's a 2009 Talking Thomas, and it's got his little light at the front.
Hello, I'm Thomas.
We know you're Thomas, you don't need to tell us that. And I'm just looking over here and just thinking, what have they done here? I'm just lining up the back. Maybe if I line up the cabin might be nicer. Okay, so we can see we're going to sort of line up through there and a line up through the front of his boiler section there. But this knockoff Thomas has got like a longer piece here, like an add-on piece there. It's also got like an add-on piece on the back here. And just looking at that there, it's relief. It's a relief. It's raised up. I'm sure that must have been a button on the toy. This has been ripped off. That's my assumption. If I line up the backs here, you'll see the running board is a lot longer on the knockoff. And all in all, between these two here, it's a total Thomas and Friends mystery. Okay, Thomas, if I drive you around to your other wonky Thomas and Friends characters here and give you a nice pullback action, you'll drive off to another dimension. Let's hope. There's always one, isn't there? Always one. And continuing on the idea of Thomas and Friends, strange, these two sets certainly fit that bill. They've got some similar parts in them. This smaller set, it cost me $15, even though it's upside down. Sorry for that. On the back, it looks like that, but the box in the background has fallen over, Thomas. It has some lovely artwork and pictures like that. I'm just going across there. Again, you can see $15, how to put the batteries in, and what sort of awesome layout this playset can build for you. Yes, it's a sort of recent pickup for me. Very strange to see Thomas stripped of his face, and the fact we're not seeing the word Thomas on this, it'd be a great legal argument. Is that really a rip-off, or is it just something else? The larger set uses a lot of similar pieces, a lot of similar sort of artwork. This one cost me $24. It's on the top of the box there. And what I've found is a lot of the time, if it comes in a large box, I'll try and whack a great big price on it. You can see the artwork there. Looks like it's got a start and stop feature going on there. It also shows you how to put the batteries into this Thomas toy, though it is a faceless Thomas. And there's some lovely pictures there depicting the playset built up and also the components of this playset. Now, I think these sets are direct rips of real Thomas sets that are getting about. I think it's called Thomas Adventures. I don't think they're really available where I live in Australia. There's not much Chinglish on these boxes as well, which is sort of peculiar, but what is underneath is probably most frightening. Now, if you believe everything you see here, there's a whole multitude of sets which are like this. Mind you, the dark side will often throw up artwork and things that don't really exist, and there may only be one or two of these ever available. But nevertheless, it just seems like an endless line of some nasty knockoff stuff, and some of the sets look very large indeed. I'll probably combine a little set with a big one, but I'm more curious about this larger set here, and I'll just point it out of the box. Okay, there's the playset there. We've got some Thunderbird's trees, which is fancy. Some really big pieces here. It looks like a stop-go section there. Yeah. Quite amazing what they rip off, and it's all colour as well. There's the pieces of track, and the engine is up here, but it's a little rolling stock bit. Let's just gently get that out. Okay, Thomas is out. Okay, there it is, the boiler face Thomas, as I'm calling it. Very strange, isn't it? And, wow, that's unusual. It's got batteries in it already. I wonder what branded battery has been in this. I wonder if it's been played with before now. See that? Let me quickly open this Thomas up. I think these Thomases, they're very easy to open up. Okay, what is that a Target battery? This must have been set up before and played with before I purchased it, because I'd never ever buy a battery from that company there or that type. Rather disturbing, isn't it? Hey, well, I'll get a battery that I like in here. And while I'm here, let's just take a quick look at the track components here. I think I've had other sets very similar to this, much smaller. Look at that, you can see the plastic flashing left there. It's just, this is actually a bit nastier than the other stuff. It's very shardy and sharp on the edge as well. I think I've had this style of track before. Yes, I've just taken a look inside that. I'm pretty sure I've shown that on a previous Dark Side video. That track pieces there are very, very similar to this here. I put Thomas together again with the battery I like in there. It's a very unusual Thomas. It's a boiler face Thomas, as I'm calling it. In fact, it's got a little smile on there as well. Makes it weird, but there's sort of no eyes. I like strange, and I like collecting strange. It really makes my day. Turn it on here. It's a bit of a wonky runner, and if we take a look here at the wheels, you can see that there's a bit of a traction tyre thing going on there. Okay, yes, I dare say this is just a rip-off of the real toy. Mind you, I'm pretty sure this style of Thomas isn't really available in the country I am. It's also got a piece of rolling stock here. We have seen a very similar piece in the other set, I believe. It's a drum of a wire or something there, probably NBN cable, because that's what we get the broadband in Australia with, hopefully one day. And there's a boulder there, because every toy train set needs a boulder. Well, let me put that down here and let me make some sort of sense out of the nonsense on the table. And as I was cleaning up stuff, I just noticed something on this box here. That is the playset supposedly that's inside the box, but on the edge of the box is a totally different picture. It shows a really unusual cranky, like a wrecking ball version of him, a faceless cranky that is. And it's also got something that looks like the Shake Shake Bridge. It does say build multiple layouts, but that playset there, or maybe part of it, relates to what's in the box, but the cranky thing there is nothing to do with what's on the table there. Well, this is about 40 minutes later, and I'm about to have a mental breakdown trying to sort this out, and then I realise I've actually got more parts that came out of that box that is what is described up on the back of the box, as in the parts that are included. Now, what I think has happened, considering I found this toy already had a battery in it, and it's a battery I would never use, this has been played with, and someone's maybe put two playsets back in one box, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 curves there. This playset's only meant to have 8 curves, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 curves. I've been given double the amount of curves. Maybe if I had the right number of curves I could make that. And what I was building up was going to be awesome, and what I'm really missing is a straight, and I thought to myself, well, maybe I can grab this pack here and steal a straight from the other box, but then this set here has no straights. So what I will do is I'll steal a straight from this set here, which had the Thomas from a previous Dark Side video that looks semi-normal, and I'll grab that. Mind you, that track is slightly different to this one, and the fact that it hasn't got the detailing as nicely as this blue track. Well, I've incorporated a loop that's not really a loop under the bridge there. It does nothing because it goes nowhere. I have sort of put this layout together, and I tell you what, now I'm starting to see this a little bit clearer. It's starting to present to me some really, really unusual aspects to the Dark Side. Just going to go back in time a bit. You remember this Thomas here? It was from a sort of Thomas that you don't see in Australia, but apparently it's sold up through the Asian regions. This is a knockoff version of it. It's one of the most classy knockoffs that we saw, except the face comes off easily, and it has all the hallmarks of being a knockoff for the fact it's just a cheap build. Now, I thought this was very similar to our boiler-ended Thomas, but there's actually a couple of differences. There are similarities, but there's differences. The boiler one's got a third wheel there, whereas the other one didn't. If I line up the cabs here, the switch area is different. In fact, that one there is longer in the cold box area, the different style of switch. Of course, the boiler end face is different to the Thomas face. Yes, you can see there what's going on here. The running boards obviously are different colours, and I think they're from a different mould, I think. You can have a good look there, and you know more than me, that's for sure. But the other curious part was that one there had like a coupling area that could move, whereas this new Thomas here, it's quite a rigid coupler. But maybe the biggest surprise and difference is when you open them up. Do you remember that one there? It had two AAA batteries, very similar to a Trackmaster 2 Thomas. And if I open up this other one here and I bring it up, it just takes a single AA battery. So in essence, what's going on inside there is very, very different. And another curious difference is this new one here, as the boiler face end one, has no sound chip and light, whereas the other one has that annoying sound chip and that very annoying light. Yeah, it's funny, initially I thought I was dealing with exactly the same build until I went back and double checked. I'm glad I came in and double checked, and I'll get all these little Thomases up and running on this playset because I think we can have some crazy Thomas fun. I've just stolen the Thomas out of that smaller set there, and that's what it looks like in box. It looks like it's got the right components. So this is a curious piece. That shake bridge looking piece there, and of course we've got our Thunderbirds trees and our Rogue boulder. One of the big surprises on this knockoff set is that piece there on screen that I'm going around now. Now, what is peculiar about this? I'm pretty sure it's Trackmaster Classic. And I say that because there is the knockoff, I'm calling it Thomas Adventures rail line, to what looks like an adapter, and I'm absolutely certain this is Trackmaster Classic by the way it's joining on there. Let me just unclip this piece and we'll take a bit of a closer look at what's going on here, because it is very curious to look at. It's the first time I've seen Trackmaster Classic ripped by the Dark Side in sets that I've picked up. Maybe you've seen it somewhere else. Definitely Trackmaster Classic by the detailing there, and also on the side of the track. As for the rest of the playset, I'm not familiar with that. I know my audience will tell me what it is. It's got little signs and stuff, very reminiscent of the hit toy company Trackmaster era. The track adapter is curious as well because I've never seen one like that. Maybe they do exist, but what the track adapters normally look like, that's a real one there, is Trackmaster Classic to Classic Tommy Blue track. Now, if I key in some classic Trackmaster track here, this is going to surprise you, or maybe not surprise you. Look at that there. It's a beautiful fit there, but what I noticed is with the track adapter that they brought in with this knockoff set, if I clip this in here, it's actually a bit of a rotten fit. It's not fitting well in that area there. There's a station, there's clock detailing there, there is a seat inside there, but as for these bits of detail here, there's the log and the boulder. It doesn't make any sense to this playset, but since when does the Dark Side make any sense? Let me get this back together and we'll give the trains a run, hey? Yes, it's a strange one. Remember, I've got a lot more track on there than what should have been in the box there, so it's been fiddled with. I'll just give this boiler face Thomas a run on this track here, just to see how it can cope with its load there, see if it gets into trouble. Welcome to the Dark Side. It can't even negotiate its own playset. Now, there's no fun when things don't work. Okay, I'll give Thomas a helping hand here. It goes down there, of course, very quickly. Comes around, let's see if he can do that shake bridge thing again, or will he just be a Thomas fail? You never know, do you? Sometimes the dark side can surprise, and other times it doesn't. Oh, it's just, there you go, got a surprise. I will set the stop here, see what happens here on the stop. Oh, it does stop. I'm surprised about that. I can set it to go again. But maybe the surprise or no surprise will be there'll be trouble on the shake bridge. Maybe that's fun. I don't think it's much fun. I'm sure you'll tell me what you think. Oh, we've got a bit of a loose load there. Or maybe the fun has started on this playset. And of course, if it's going to be like that, Thomas is never going to get over the bridge now. Or maybe that is the fun, you know. It loose loads, it just drops its load like that, goes around the back wagon, just waggling wherever it wants to go. Well, maybe this is one of the most awesome knockoff sets I've ever seen in my life. Don't have the trains on the track, just have them running wherever they want to go. That's where the fun is. That is if Thomas can get over the bridge. I know one way to really elevate the fun is you add more trains to the track, don't you? Well, I do. Okay, go Thomas, go. Oh, that's the new Thomas there stuck, and we'll put the load back into this Thomas here, because he was a renegade there for a moment. He'll come up the back here. Oh, boiler and biffo. Now, oh, yeah, well this is fun, isn't it? We're having lots of fun with the knockoff Thomases, yay! Especially when they go boof, like that, and then they get stuck again. And then they derail and re-rail, and then he goes boof. Yeah, it's heaps of fun. Oh, now he's stuck. I know, it's a sort of action I could actually watch all day long. Poof! Bye-bye, Thomas. Now I'm stuck. I love the way the wagons actually go wild and they derail, and he's going to go biffo, and now Thomas is derailed. Now he's going to go... Oh! Thomas is down. Thomas is down. Oh, straight past that load there. Up over, ignoring the crashed Thomas there, as you do, apart from being stuck on the bridge. Well, let me save this crashed Thomas here, and we'll get even more action going. I'll get the other Thomases that have got faces, and we'll get them going on this playset as well. Okay, I've got quite a dark side lineup here of boiler face Thomases and fake face Thomases. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Wave this one. I hope they're all going to... Oh, sound chips on some of them. Annoying. That's if they stay on the rails. Oh, there's trouble up on the bridge. Oh, the massive Thomas stacker. Oh, they're going down. They're all falling down, and the boiler face Thomas decides to take a look and, well, take another look and get stuck. Those sound chips are highly annoying. Let me turn this off, and I'm going to reset this. I thought that was fun. Well, let's be naughty and let's keep having fun with the knockoffs, eh? Get this Thomas going. Get that Thomas going. Get that Thomas going. Get that Thomas going. And anything could happen, especially up there on the bridge. Wow! I think I've seen that sort of action before. That looks even better this time around. There's one more boiler face Thomas to come around and give the... Oh, he's down. Thomas is down. Thomas is down. Well, I've reset that, and I can't help myself. I'm actually having fun here. Let's give it one more spin of the knockoff Thomases, upside down face Thomases, boiler face Thomases, and the trouble seems to start over there. Oh, very curious, isn't it? Very curious indeed. And again, a boiler face Thomas will come along and do the final smackdown. There certainly seems to be a very regular way that these Thomases crash. And I'll turn these off because they're extremely annoying to hear that sound chip in your face. Okay, I've tried to bring some normality back to this video, although it's never going to happen. I've stripped off the rolling stock and I'll just give the Thomases a run as bare knockoff Thomases. Okay, sound chips just always killing me. Okay, they're away, and trouble usually seems to happen up the back. Oh, there's a stacker, but oh, they've all got through. They all look sort of, well, semi-cool. There's actually one stuck up on the bridge in the background there. Okay, and it's coming around. It's one of the cloudy-sided ones. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's off on the side there. Yeah, it's going to be, well, which one's going to be the last one standing on the playset by the looks of it? Who's it going to be? Well, the boiler face Thomases knock off the fake face. Oh, look out, yes! The boiler face Thomases are through. Can you believe that? The boiler face Thomases have won that battle. Amazing. I'm actually quite curious to see that again. So I wonder if there's something different about the way these guys are made that makes them a little bit more haphazard on the tracks. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with being haphazard on the tracks. I'll just capture these guys here. Oh, I just missed one. Like that, they run from me, these guys, and come here. And I'll set them up so they're boiler-faced, fake-faced, and the fake face at the back there. Okay, we're ready to go. And we go, anything could possibly happen. It always seems to happen like that, doesn't it? Okay, they're all up and running, and the trouble's already started. Oh, whoa, there you go, the fake facer is off, and the fake facer just gave the boiler face a kiss there. Now that one's actually stuck up on the bridge there. Oh, and there's going to be a Thomas sandwich here. There's one boiler face going to come round and give it a bit of a, I was going to say a Thomas backside, but that wouldn't be very nice to say, would it? I'll just come in and give these guys a nudge and reset them on their merry. Was that one broken or something? Welcome to the dark side. That one, oh no, it's up and running again. Oh, did you see that? I just hope the camera captured that. Again, the boiler face Thomases have come through as the champions in that quite bizarre battle. Now, I'm going to do that one more time. I can't believe that these guys are so incredible. Look at these guys here. Shame, shame, shame. We'll put you back up onto the tracks. So what's becoming obvious to me is what I'm calling the Shake Shake Bridge is the fun of this knockoff set. And I really shouldn't say like that. And I'll get these guys going again nice and carefully. I'm noticing the part of the playset here is starting to fall apart. But welcome to the dark side. And the trouble's already started! Did you see that? And the fake face is going to come around and kiss the back of the boiler face. Ooh, they've all just got through then. But only just, anything could happen on the next round, especially across that bridge. Getting round to the bridge now, and boiler face up the front there. Will it make it across? Oh, yes it does. The fake face is down, but so is the boiler face, Thomas. But in the end, it's a boiler face Thomas that has been left on the track, so the boiler face Thomas has won that round. I could go on doing that all day long, but sadly, I can't. It's trying to pull itself apart here. Welcome to the dark side. I will set one of these faker trains off. I want you to watch the way the wheels work of this Thomas here, which is from another playset on this playset. Watch very carefully in this section here, especially the front wheel. Okay, did you see that? I'll go back in slow motion. You can see what's going on there. Yes, the boiler face Thomases don't do that type of action. So there's something about this area here, or something about the way these Thomases are built. Thank goodness I just turned it off. But, you know, initially I thought those two guys were very similar. But as we worked out, the dark side's always got some surprises waiting for us. I'll leave this Thomas Dark Side episode here. I tried to bring together a whole bunch of peculiar things that I saw going on. Hopefully I've achieved that in this episode. I'm not trying to give you advice to buy this, because you may have seen me having fun here, but there's no fun in these toys because you don't get value for money. You saw the cost of these toys, and in the end what comes out of the box is often a whole bunch of rubbish and things that don't quite work properly. Apart from that, they're just very dangerous toys. Parts of them come off very easily. You can easily get into the battery area. You won't ever find that on the real Thomas toys. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm going to put some of these Thomases away into my collection. I don't keep all of this stuff. I mean, I'd be a madman to do so, but I've got to keep some of this stuff as a curious thing to look back on when we go forward with more Dark Side episodes. I really hope you enjoyed this Thomas and Friends Dark Side episode. Oh, the first Thomas is free. Oh, they're coming for the fifth phone. He's stuck there. Up the back there. Whoa, and another Thomas is going to be stuck. Oh, there he is. He's stuck. And there'll be a boiler face come around and give it...